Hi, and welcome to my channel. I'm Rob Smith from Southwest Customised Clothing, and tonight we're going to be doing sublimation printing on mugs and coasters. Okay, this is the Sawgrass SG800, the A3 version of sublimation printers by Sawgrass. This is the paper tray. At the moment it has the A3 sheets in it, has the sliders so you can reduce it to A4 and to mug size papers. This is where the inks go. Simple flap comes down. So it's a cyan, magenta, yellow and black. They slide in and out very easily. And that's that. Pop that back, red light will go off. Okay, so this is what we'll be using. This is a specific printer for sublimation printing. It's not a conversion. And yeah, great machine. And the inks that I use with this are the Sawgrass Sublijets. So it's the correct sublimation ink for the printer. They do come with a date, so this one is July 31st 2022. So that there is the Sawgrass SG800 A3. But we've had a tour of the printer, so you know it's a CMYK printer. You know it does A3, A4 mug size papers with an adjustable tray, and it's very simple to use. It is a Sawgrass SG800 for if you want to look them up. They're great printers. They are sublimation printers. They're not conversions. So basically, right, what we've done is we've got our graphic here. I've stuck a couple of little bits of paper, tape, heat resistant tape on each end, and I'm going to get a mug. All of the mugs that I buy from MD Supplies in the UK, they're all Orca coated, which is a proper sublimation coating. If you don't use an Orca coated or specific sublimation mug, your ink won't adhere to it. Basically, this ink will turn to gas when it reaches a certain temperature, and then that actually becomes part of the product that you're sublimating. So it's not like other inks where you're laying a layer of ink over the top of it. This actually penetrates the mug surface and becomes part of the mug. That's why it's very durable and a real good way of printing. Each mug comes in its own bag like this. So what I'd recommend is try avoid touching the actual mug itself because you get the oils off your hand and it can just sort of, not very much, but it can affect your print. You get your print and you wrap it round. So what you're trying to do there, now that the paper's on there, I can lose the bag. What you're trying to do here is just get the paper nicely lined up all the way around the same height so that your print is hopefully level. Okay, so it's now stuck all the way around with my graphics on it. And what I'll do is I'll cut to the machine when it's up to temperature and tell you about that. Basically, we're going to sublimate it at 180 for 180 seconds. So it's quite a long one on this. Other mugs and other products aren't as long. Things like coasters are 60 seconds under the heat press. Sublimation tea towels I do for about, I think that's about 120 or 180, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I will do a video on sublimating tea towels. But yeah, so the thing is, always try and follow the manufacturer's guidelines because they know their product best. But what I have found, sometimes they don't work for me. So what I find is I do up the time or lower the time. Sometimes it's a bit of trial and error. Yes, you waste product, but to get it right time and time again after that, once you're happy with however it works for you, make a note of that and stick with it. All right, so what we'll do is we'll get the mug press turned on. I'll do a little tour of that while it's warming up, and then we'll pop the mug in and see how it comes out. Right, the mug press is on its way up to temperature. Just a quick tour of the press. Obviously the mug goes in here, it gets very hot in there, so be careful, and you bring the handle down to set the timer off. Okay, over here you have the settings button, so increase and decrease. This is to set your temperature, and this is for your timer. So if you're doing metal bottles or other items that need a different temperature or time, it's very easy to change these. Generally I do mugs, but yes, I do other bits and pieces in this. This is just a basic heat mug press that I got from MDP Supplies again in the UK. For me, it's worked really well. Occasionally when I have had some really big orders for a lot of mugs, it's been a bit of a nightmare one at a time, and I wish I had a multi-mug press, but I don't do enough to warrant that. So this nearly up to temperature, and what we will do is we'll take our mug. I do recommend, you know, if you're new to this, get yourself a heat resistant glove or something. I have been burnt many a times, but I don't have one. So when that comes up, what I'll do is I'll pop the mug in and we'll set that on its way. Right, as you can see, that's very nearly there. It's coming up to 180, I believe. There we go. It's just clicked to say it's there. The flame has gone out to say it's reached temperature. So what we'll do is we just slide that in there, and then we pull the handle down, and that's now setting off. As you can see, the timer is working its way down, which is the white one. The temperature does obviously drop straight away because you're putting a cold mug into that, but obviously with the length of time of this press, it has got plenty of time to come back up, which it will do. And then, you know, I've never had any problems with it before. So yeah, so that is the mug on its way. Right, we're on the last 10-second countdown, and as you can see, we're nearly ready to take it out. So it'll start to beep in a second. There we go. You lift the handle to stop the beeping. It's quite hot, so the handle stays cool, but the rest of the mug is very hot. So I'll pop that down there a minute, and in a second or two, we'll unwrap it. Right, let us pick it up. It's still very hot because literally I've only just taken it out a few seconds ago. So the mug itself is very hot, and it does stay hot for quite some time actually. So the handle, safe to hold, not a problem, no heat in that at all, but the rest of it is very hot. So I'll get a corner and just gently peel it up, take that bit of paper off and swing it around. Try not to let the paper linger and move, because what you can get is what they call shadowing, and that is where the item is still so hot, the ink that's left on the paper transfers a tiny bit of that across where you've moved it, so you get shadowing. But no, we've got no shadowing, so here it is. So that is the mug done. As you can see, the colours, the blues, the reds are very vibrant. It's all clear, easy to read, spot on. So as it says, Southwest Customised Clothing, now on YouTube. Thank you very much. But as you can see, you will have some very faded ink left on the paper. That always happens. It's a good indication of, you know, the more faded it is, the more it's gone into the mug, so you know your settings are right. Once you've done your first couple of mugs, you'll know whether they look right or not. You'll be happy with them. As they cool, they can get darker, the blacks, and the vibrant colours will increase as it cools. But in general, you know, you can tell straight away. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. I think that looks great. And that is how you sublimate a mug, you know. Correct sublimation printer or a conversion if that's what you've got. So as long as you're using the correct inks, as I say, what I use is the Sawgrass Sublimate inks, which are proper sublimation inks. Proper paper, very important you have the paper. Something I didn't mention, the paper has to go a certain way, like in any printer. Again, check your printer, depends what you have. But mine, the paper has to go, I can't remember, facing up, I think. I don't change it that often, so I always have to double check when I do change it. But yeah, so correct papers, sublimation paper, that isn't very expensive. The sublimation papers aren't too expensive. Sublimation inks can be a bit pricey. That's why I think people do conversions and try and do their own top-ups. But personally, I find the quality of the correct inks is so much better for myself. Correct paper and correct settings. So the printing's important with a sublimation ink on sublimation paper, on a sublimation item, so a mug, mouse mat, tea towel, as long as it's sublimation. Sublimation can only be done on polyester. 100% polyester is better, and only be done on orca covered items like mugs. I've got some here, coasters. So as long as they're proper sublimation items, you'll have absolutely no problem if you follow those steps. Right, here we are at the heat press to do a coaster. The temperature for this is going to come up to 180 degrees for a 60-second press. I've got 2 Teflon sheets, one which I'll roll back and the other one at the bottom. What I've done here basically is I've got a dye sublimation coaster. I've taped it on into position. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll put it this way down. So you always have the media, the paper, the final, whatever on the top, and whatever's being printed on or sublimated on the bottom. Okay, so then I'm just going to pull this back over here and push that shut, and then what we're going to do is set it off for a 60-second press. Right, we're on a countdown from the last 6 seconds now. What we'll do is we'll hear it beep. There we go. So we'll pull that out. Just take that off. This, remember, is very, very, very hot. So just be really careful. Quickly get that off. And there we are. Dye sublimated coaster. Just like the mug. So when that's cooled down, we'll be able to show you that properly. And there we have the final product. Dye sublimation mug and a dye sublimation coaster. All that's left for me to say is thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, and keep watching. Really appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching, guys. Just a quick apology, guys. I did say that the sublimation paper is face up in the video. Actually, it's face down. I think I got a bit flustered, but the paper goes face down, just to save anyone commenting and correcting me. Thanks very much.